Welcome back, Councillor.
The city-wide manhunt continues for former Council of Boomers member Superclaw.
I thought the rest of them were safe and I haven't heard from Eric. God even knows what's happened to Frank.
What are they going to be done for next?
Hagsgate. I remember it like it was yesterday. The case that made my name. Detective Max Stryker, DLPD. You don't do this job for the salary. You don't do it for the benefits. And you certainly don't do it expecting to be investigating a shady council summoning alter egos, dabbling in the arcane and toying with fate. But there I was in the trenches. Over my head? Not on your life. I put an evil man behind bars, Shroomraver went to ground like a diglet heading home, and I thought that was an end of it. But Draft League City was rarely so kind. In the smoking haze of past battles, turns out a new mystery was waiting to be uncovered. Onesie was my main man on the inside. Hadn't made contact in a while, so the call came as a surprise. Seems he'd gotten himself invited to the big leagues, but he weren't happy about it. It wasn't an offer, it was a threat. Sounded like someone was targeting him, and not just him. An ominous invitation had also come through Shroomraver's door. Wherever the hell that was these days. If Frank got one too, well, I guess he got spooked. I'd spent so long thinking Shroom was the bad guy, I didn't stop to consider the alternative. Was he being set up? Looked like Superblah escaping from prison and ended in his captivity elsewhere. And Onesie seemed to think whoever was behind it was coming for him and Shroom next. Had I been misled? Maybe the Council of Boomers wasn't the threat we'd all been warned about. Someone definitely had them in their sights. And they weren't gonna be greeting them with a handshake and a howdy do. This was serious. And I was gonna have to get to the bottom of it. Onesie put me on to a podcast by one Dr. Slacking. Some crackpot conspiracy nut with an axe to grind against the establishment.
I was fooled. I was hoodwinked. All of you have been betrayed.
He may have had some wild theories under that tinfoil hat of his. Thought this generation was a myth, poor deluded wackadoodle. But one thing was clear. He didn't trust authority, and he certainly didn't trust the commissioners of the Pokemon Premier League. I'd have to try and make contact, and if not, well, I guess the commissioners would be getting a little visit from justice.
Hello everyone, Shroomraver here, and welcome to my first battle from the Pokemon Premier League Season 2. Yes indeed, now, as you're no doubt aware, I am back in the PPL. Parasect Germain are back. Under some interesting circumstances. If you've seen some of the videos that I've put up already, and indeed the intro to this one, we were invited back to the PPL under some pretty suspicious circumstances. We got an invitation that was pretty ominous. I'm a bit uncomfortable with it. I don't really know what to think. Something is going on that I'm not particularly happy with, but we are here and we have to make the best of it, which is not going to be easy because I was hoping it wouldn't come to this so early. Our first week we are going up against QtheCostaRican and the Chicago Pults. Now, this is a bad thing for me. He's a very good player, and like in my interview I said, one of the people I didn't want to face was QtheCostaRican, and suddenly week one, here we are facing Q. It's like someone was watching and has just organised it that way. I don't know really what to think about it, but you know, we're going to have to make the best of it while figuring out what's going on. Q's team that he can pick from: Terrapagos, Meowscarada, Goldengo, Comfey, Galarian Zapdos, Tentacruel, Hitmontop, Moltres, Mudsdale, Electros, and Reuniclus. His 2 Terra Captains are Comfey, which can go Fairy, Steel, Water, and Hitmontop, that can go Fighting, Ice, and Dark. Now, this is very threatening stuff. That new Terrapagos, I think, was wholly underpriced, but he got it. Meowscarada is an absolute demon. Goldengo is very scary. He's got all the hazard removal, and a few very dangerous looking setup sweepers and some just pretty powerful hitters. So we're going to have to try and get creative to deal with him here. So let's take a look at what I'm bringing. First Mon, that is going to be Mobius the Mew. We have gone, let me just get my team sheet up real quick. We've got max HP, max speed here. Jolly Nature, Leftovers, Earthquake, Toxic, Sub, and Haze. Everything on his team can be toxic except for the Goldengo and the, well, 3 things actually: the Goldengo, the Tentacruel, and the Reuniclus because of Magic Guard. But they can all be Earthquaked, and if it comes to a problem with Reuniclus setting up in front of me, I can haze away all those stat changes and hopefully tank hits and just chip him down with Earthquake as needs be. Next, we are going to be bringing Assault Vest Raikou. Max special attack, max speed on there, modest nature, which I can afford to run to be outpacing, I think it might be the Comfey that I'm trying to outpace there, something like that. I can afford to run modest. Thunderbolt, Scald, Aura Sphere, and Volt Switch. This is hitting the majority of his team for pretty good damage. Gonna have to be careful of that Terrapagos because the first time a Terrapagos comes in, it can basically make everything not very effective. So that's going to be a difficult one to try and deal with. But I'm hoping just to be sort of Volt Switching around, getting initiative and getting in some of my heavy hitters. One of which is going to be a fairly standard max Jolly Toxic Orb Zangoose going on here. Facade, Quick Attack, Knockoff, and Swords Dance. I only really need normal and dark hits to take on his team. If I can get a Swords Dance up, then it's pretty much game, because everything I don't outspeed dies to Quick Attack at +2 with Terra Normal. And then you've got Knockoff for the Goldengo and Facade for like everything else. Like even if his Mudsdale is somehow at max HP with a +1 boost from Stamina, +2 Facade will knock it out. So yeah, Zangoose could be endgame, ideally. I really want to get a good record with Zangoose this season, so that's what we're going with. Fourth member of the team, looking at my sheet over there, is going to be a physically defensive Fortress with Leftovers, rocking out with Rapid Spin, Stealth Rock, Volt Switch, and Ice Spinner. This is going to be my best answer to the Meowscarada. Meowscarada is very scary, but Fortress will be able to take it on. I wanted to run Rocky Helmet, but you know, the Punching Glove thing exists, Protected Pads exists, and I'm going to need a bit more longevity on Fortress because I want to be trying to spin against his decent hazard setters. This will also take at least 1 hit from a Galarian Zapdos if he brings that. So yeah, Volt Switch just to initiative on out of there. If Fortress is in trying to spin, I'm fully anticipating the Goldengo to be coming in to block that, so I can Volt Switch out there and get into one of my big hitters to take on the Goldengo, one of which is going to be Candygram. This is Life Orb, Garchomp over here. 240 Jolly Nature and Speed. Max attack, rest into HP. Scale Shot, Earthquake, Iron Head, and Stone Edge. Once again, this is hitting his team for very, very good damage, neutrally or super effectively. With a Scale Shot up, everything below, let's see, the Galarian Zapdos in speed is going to be outpaced, even if they're Scarfed. I'm going to have to watch out for the Comfey, which I'm expecting him to bring, which could be a bit of an issue. But yeah, this is going to be hitting very hard indeed. Tanking hits because it's got naturally good bulk, and hoping that it can put the hurt on Q. Final member of the team is going to be Colberberry Sinistra. We have max HP, 128 special attack, modest nature. The rest pumped into speed. I think that's outpacing stuff like a non-invested Tentacruel. We have Matcha Gotcha, Calm Mind, Strength Sap, and Shadow Ball. Pretty much all I need to be hitting him very, very powerfully. The Colbur Berry on there. This is going to enable me, even by not hitting it super effectively, to try and better take on the Meowscarada. I can tank a knockoff with my Colbur Berry, immediately go for Strength Sap to lower his attack, get my HP back, and maybe even then go Terra Fairy to tank another one and start setting up if I can. So yeah, that is the team that I'm going to be bringing, looking at what Q has got. Kind of things I'm expecting. I mean, those top three on his team, Terrapagos, Meowscarada, and Goldengo, like, they are coming. I'm absolutely certain of it. In fact, to be honest, I could very well see him just bringing his top 6 picks. Terrapagos, Meowscarada, Goldengo, Comfey, Galarian, Zapdos, and Tentacruel. I am fully anticipating the Tentacruel. I am anticipating Specially Defensive, and I'm anticipating Liquid Ooze. That, I think, is going to be his best thing to take on my my Sinistra, so that when I try and Matcha Gotcha or Strength Sap on it, I will get hurt by doing so. So that I'm going to have to watch out for. But I have some things that I think can take on the Tentacruel. So that's kind of my mindset going into this. The Terrapagos is going to be a tough one. Obviously, I've never fought one before, so I don't entirely know what it can do. It could very well just be a defensive set with the spin, and then just some powerful natural hitting moves. So it's going to be a difficult one. Q is a very talented player. He's got a very good team. But let's get into the battle and see what he decided to bring against me. So, Q decided to bring Terrapagos, Comfey, Meowscarada, Tentacruel, Hitmontop, and Goldengo. A lot of what I was expecting. No sign of the Galarian Zapdos, which I'm very happy about. But he does have the Tentacruel, and that to me means Toxic Spikes, which is a problem. My team does not have a very good grounded poison, and he's picked up on that very quickly. So what I'm kind of expecting him to do is just straight up lead with the Tentacruel. With that in mind, my lead is going to be Raikou to try and force him out. He does not have an immunity to Volt Switch, which is very nice. No Mudsdale here is great, which means I can lead with my Raikou and just go for Volt Switch and try and force him out and stop him getting those hazards up as soon as possible. So, here we go. Battle is going to start against Q, our first of the season, against someone I didn't want to fight. And he is going to lead with the Tentacruel. Now, of course, the Meowscarada could have been a T-Spiker, but I rather thought he'd want to bring Offensive. The Tentacruel is in, straight up against my Raikou, so I've got the lead right there. If he's fully Specially Defensive, I won't be able to take him out. So, realistically, I'm just going to go for Volt Switch and hope I force him to withdraw and try and get a better matchup later on down the line. So, here comes the Volt Switch. As you can see, that's doing a good amount of damage, like slightly over half. And it's at this point that I start thinking, oh god, please no Mirror Coat. Please no Mirror Coat, that is the last thing I want to see. The best thing I really have to go into is probably the Mew. Obviously it won't take reduced damage if he's going for that Mirror Coat, but I'm fully expecting the Toxic Spikes now that he's lived the hit. So Mew comes in, and as you can see, right off the bat, he's going to go for T-Spikes. He's identified my team's biggest weakness, and he's gone for it turn 1. So, good play by him, and now I kind of have to try and react from here. Now, I'm thinking that he's going to want to go for another layer or get out, so I'm going to go for a sub to try and scout out what he wants to do. Turns out, he's just going to go straight for Hydro Pump. So if I'd have gone for Earthquake there, he'd have been gone. But as it is, he is going to be able to break my sub with the Hydro, which is a little bit unfortunate. But now we've got to play this kind of prediction game. Is he going to stay in and keep trying to break my sub? Or is he going to go out into something else, predicting me to now go straight for an attack? So as it is, he's going to get the play right. I go for Earthquake, and he is going to switch straight on out and make the very, very offensive play directly into his Meowscarada. I go for Earthquake, and as you can see, with no investment on my part, that is not going to be doing a whole lot of damage. Get some leftovers back, which is nice. Mew's a very good amount of health, but now I have to react to a whole-ass Meowscarada in front of me, and that's a scary prospect. Now, all day, every day, my switch here is into my Fortress. He's going to be going for either U-turn or knockoff, I'm pretty sure. No reason for him not to do either of those things. And as you can see, he's going to go for the knockoff, get rid of my leftovers, And it's looking like he isn't the Protean set, because otherwise he'd have just gone to pure dark. I think that's how it works. Either way, this would be a great chance for me to spin, but he does have that Goldengo, and I'm fully anticipating he's going to go directly into it to stop me getting rid of those T-spikes early. So my play here, given that I'm going to be slower than him anyway, is to go for Volt Switch early game and try and get some initiative against that Goldengo. As you can see, he is going to withdraw, and he is going to go hard into High Tide, and that is indeed going to be his Goldengo. Trying to block my Rapid Spin, he has an Air Balloon, which is really nice, because I can pop that with the Volt Switch, get rid of that Air Balloon, and now, if I was going to go into Garchomp, this would be a real threat to him. What I'm actually going to do is go into my Raikou, though. I am going to be taking those Toxic Spikes, but Raikou, at the moment, is kind of functioning as a bit of a hit-and-run Pokemon. I just want to be Volt Switching around, getting initiative where I can, and getting chip damage for, hopefully, either Zangoose or the Garchomp to come in late game and try and do some sweeping if possible. So Volt Switch is most likely my play here. See what he wants to do and react to whether he stays in or not by going into something that can take on this guy. He is going to stay in. He's pretty confident, obviously, and legitimately that he can live any one hit I go for. Special defense isn't exactly my forte right about now, but now that his Air Balloon is popped, I can go into my Mew if I so choose. I will very likely take a hit from this guy, given that I have such a massive HP investment. Oh, did I say Mew? Swerved, pranked. No, I go into Garchomp instead. I can't afford to be too predictable when I'm recording these, because I don't know who's watching. You know, something strange is going on in the PPL, and I can't afford to be predictable to people. I need to sort of throw different things out there. As it is, I decide to go into Garchomp. Naturally bulky, it can definitely tank at least one hit from this guy. His Shadow Ball does a lot, but now I'm in a very strong position with Garchomp in here. I don't have a lot of time because I'm poisoned and Life Orb, so I kind of have to use my turns as well as I can, and that pretty much means hitting what's in front of me at this point and going for Earthquake. And Earthquake is going to be the play. He is going to get on out of there and go into Triple Tech. That's going to be his Hitmontop, who gets the Intimidate onto me. But Garchomp is incredibly powerful, goes for Earthquake, and as you can see, even at -1, that is going to do over half. I know I'm Life Orb, but Hitmontop is usually very bulky. The fact that it's taken so much damage means that it quite possibly doesn't have full defense investment, and it might be looking to try and prioritize by going for the likes of Mach Punch. Either way, I need to get on out of there and go into something that can take the hit a little bit better, and that's looking like Fortress. And it is going to be the Fortress. I go into it here. He of course has his Hitmontop in, and as you can see, going to go for the Mach Punch, which does a nominal amount of damage to my Fortress. Unfortunately, those leftovers are gone. He is back at just over half his health now. And this could be an opportunity to spin, but once again, I'm pretty sure that Goldengo is just going to come back in. So I have to decide whether I'm going to go for the spin, predicting him not to go into Goldengo now that it's at lower health, or try and get my rocks up, or once again, go for the initiative. As you can see, I go for the initiative, and he withdraws and goes into Tentacruel. So he was willing to go back into that, I guess, on my spin, to get his hazards up once again. So a good play on Q's part, but I'm just going to Volt Switch out of there and see if I can go into something that will take out this Tentacruel once and for all. And I'm going to go into Zangoose. Now, this is an interesting thing because it's going to waste my Toxic Orb as an item, but I'm only on regular poison, which means that isn't going to stack up if Zangoose has to stay in for multiple turns. Now, Tentacruel is at low health, and I've got a load of things that can kill it. So realistically, I don't think he's going to be switching out here. I also don't exactly know how much speed he's got on this guy, and it's not a risk I entirely want to take. He does naturally outpace me, and he could be EV'd to do just that. So my play here is just go for the Quick Attack and try and take this Tentacruel off the field of play. And that's what I'm going to do. Go for Quick Attack, down goes Tentacruel, and the first KO of the season for Parasect Germain goes to Zangoose. Really happy about that. I want Zangoose to do well for me. It has done in the past. It's a good ally to me, and I think it's going to help me out a lot this season. So, Down goes the Tentacruel, but of course now he is free to bring in just any one of his innumerate amounts of threats. So, speaking of threats, in comes the cat. Now, I don't have a Swords Dance up, so even if I was to Terra Normal here, Quick Attack wouldn't be taking out the Meowscarada. And you know, Fortress is still at a good enough range of health that it can come in and tank hits. So, once again, that is very likely going to be my play here, because I'll be able to just rinse and repeat against this Meowscarada with Fortress, getting it in and Volt Switching around to get initiative further on down the line. So, gonna get on out of there with Zangoose, and go on into... Haha, you thought! No, it's Garchomp again, I choose to sack it. So yeah, he's gonna go for the Flower Trick here. I wanted to get a free switch into Fortress. Like I say, I need to sort of mix things up and not be predictable, because I don't know who's watching, but down goes Garchomp, very unfortunate, not going to be able to get anything going with my first round pick today. But like I say, this does afford me a free switch into my Fortress to see if I can go for a spin at some point. So, in comes that Fortress, and now again I have to kind of make the call. Is he going to go into his Goldengo? Now, the Tentacle has gone down, so he can't set up those Toxic Spikes again. So I'm going to see what he's going to go here. As you can see, he is going to withdraw, and he's going to go into that Goldengo once again. Like I was saying, the fact that his Tentacle has gone down means that he can't get T-Spikes up, and he's going to want to keep them up. But I, seeing that he's going to make that play, decide it's time to get my own rocks up. Now, the fact that he has let Tentacle go down would imply to me that that's not his spinner. It was his Hazard Setter, and that was its job. So now that's gone, he's probably got spin on the hit on top. And now I don't really want to take a hit from this Goldengo with my Fortress. But I do have an AV Raikou in the back who should be able to take it on fairly well. And so that is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to hard switch out of there, get on in with my Raikou and see exactly what this Goldengo wants to do to me. And as you'll see, after my pressure goes off, what he chooses to do is just go for a substitute. Wasn't quite anticipating that, but that does sort of say to me, sub-nasty plot, you know, Shadow Ball make it rain, something like that. I can break his sub, and it's probably best that I do that with my Raikou and stay in, because like I say, I'm AV, he won't be able to do a vast amount to me. I go for the Thunderbolt. As you'll see, that is indeed going to break the sub of the Goldengo, which is lovely, not letting him get away with setting up in front of me. And as you'll see, Make It Rain is the play he goes for, potentially predicting my Volt Switch into something else. His special attack is down. I'm taking a decent amount of toxic damage, which I'm not a huge fan of. But now I should be able to just click Thunderbolt again and take this thing out if he wants to stay in, which I don't think he's going to want to do. As you'll see, he does not want to do that. He wants to keep those toxic spikes up on my side forever. So he's going to go into his cat, the Meowscarada. It takes some of the rocks damage, so it's not boots. And I'm going to go for Thunderbolt and do a good amount of damage to him. That's not horrible damage at all. But I do not want to stay in here. Raikou could still be useful for the likes of that Goldengo to hit things on the switch, and now is my chance to go back into my Fortress. So in it comes. And now I'm really kind of wishing that I had the Rocky Helmet, because at least I would have got some more damage with the initial knockoff. In comes the Fortress. He is going to go for the knockoff again. That's not going to do a whole huge amount of damage. And now he's suckered me into this idea that I cannot spin until the Goldengo is gone. I have to go for Volt Switch, which is potentially going to cost me in the upcoming turns. By the way, I'm sorry if I'm sort of stumbling over my words. I am kind of ill. I've got a split lip, which isn't helping matters. Yeah, you know, the PPL have really caught me at a bad time for me. It's there you go. They've caught me while I'm ill, which is not great. You know, they're giving me every weakness they can. But as you'll see, he is just going to stay in and go for the knockoff. He's suckered me in to thinking I can't spin. That was my chance to get a spin off, and unfortunately I waste it going for Volt Switch. But it does mean that I can try and get some initiative by going into my Zangoose and getting this thing out of here with a quick attack, and that is basically what I'm going to do. In comes Zangoose, and I have to make a decision here, because quick attack at this point will take him out without terroring or without a Swords Dance. So do I just attack the threat that's in front of me, or do I predict him to go into his Goldengo, go for the knockoff, or the Swords Dance. If I go for Swords Dance here and he switches, then I'm going to do horrible things to his team. But if I go for Swords Dance and he attacks, I lose Zangoose for no reason. It's a tough spot to be in, it's a bit of a bind, and as you'll see, he is going to make that switch, I guess predicting my quick attack, and go into his Goldengo. So once again, Q gets the play right. He goes into Goldengo as I quick attack, and unfortunately that is not going to work out so well for me, and I take a bit of poison damage, and now we're in this position. Now Q is going to continue making this series of very good doubles. He knows I outspeed, and he knows I'm going to be going for knockoff, and he's going to go into his Hitmontop, which is going to take the rocks damage. It's also going to get the Intimidate off as I go for knockoff, and it does like a little chunk, which is fine. I get rid of his leftovers, but unfortunately now he is in a position where he can very freely go for spin if he so chooses, and I kind of have to again be reactive from there. I could try and go into my my Sinistra, but it's going to get poisoned from the toxic spikes. Ideally I want to try and spin them away before I go into it, because it's looking like one of my only endgame propositions that I've got left. There's enough health to do some damage when he eventually brings in that Terapagos. Terapagos hasn't come in yet. He's had every opportunity to do so, but he hasn't gone for it. And as you'll see, as I go into Mew here, I'm going to take the poison, which is fine. He is going to go for that rapid spin. So, he's let Tentacruel go down after getting his hazards up, and now he's shown rapid spin on that Hitmontop, and that now has me worrying. He's refused to go into his Terapagos, even until now, which kind of makes me think, he's got a spinner, he's got a hazard setter, what the hell is that Terapagos going to do? I opt to go for Earthquake here, and that is not going to take out the Hitmontop, unfortunately. Now he is going to be able to go for the triple axle. Thankfully he only hits twice, which is good for me, I guess. And now his Hitmontop's at very low health, and it looks very much like he's happy to let this thing go down. It appears it's done what he wanted it to do. Mew is now at under half health. I'm kind of forced into a position where I sort of have to go for Earthquake here. He could try and preserve this and go into Meowscarada, but my team is very weakened, and realistically, it's not looking great. So as you can see, he's going to go for Mach Punch just to get some more chip damage onto my Mew. Gets a crit. Whether that matters is very debatable. I don't think it does at all. It's not doing a huge amount to me. And he is going to go down to the Earthquake, so Mew chalks up a KO for the season. First one for it. But Mew is at a very revengeable range of health for that very pesky Meowscarada, if that's what he so chooses to go into right now. So, in comes the Comfey, the other member of his team that hasn't seen the field yet. This is problematic for me, because it can set up all over my face. But, immediate reaction, Toxic it. Get a Toxic onto this guy as quickly as possible. I am going to outspeed, which means that he is setting up, essentially. I get the Toxic off, and as you can see, he is just going to go for the Calm Mind. So he's at +1/+1, which is, again, not ideal for me. I am going to get some leftovers back, but with that poison damage is racking up right now. I pretty much have to try and click Haze to make sure I get rid of those boosts, and basically hope with my decent HP investment, even at the low range that I'm at, that I can live a hit. Realistically, not a great chance of that happening. As you can see, he's going to go for the Draining Kiss, and that is going to take out my Mew. He gets back to full health. Obviously Toxic's going to be chipping him down, but Mew is now down. Thankfully, this Comfey is on a timer at the very least. So it just becomes a case of, can I live through the onslaught that is Comfey? So here I'm going to go into my Fortress. This is essentially do or die for Fortress spinning, which as you can see is going to be the move that I click. And basically what I have to do is hope and pray that he is not Terra Water. If he is Terra Fairy or Terra Steel, then even if he's got Terra Blast, I should live the hit at +1 because of my natural resistance. And I'll be able to get that spin off, and that'll be really good for my Sinistra. So as you can see, he is going to Terra, and it is Terra Water. It's the one thing I didn't want to see. And the fact that he's gone with Terra Water now just basically means that he's going to go for Terra Blast. And whilst I could take a Draining Kiss, while I could take a Giga Drain, I'm not going to be able to take a Terra Water. Unfortunately, Fortress goes down, and what that means is those Toxic Spikes are there to stay, and my Sinistcha, when it comes in, is going to get poisoned. And unfortunately, that is my only option. I have to go into Sinistcha here, I have to take the poison. I have very good natural special defense, I am max HP, and even at +1, Machigotcha should be doing a very good amount to this guy. So basically I just have to hope that I do enough damage to the point where Toxic will rack up and take him out before he can do too much more damage to my team. I need to get out of this exchange with Sinistcha having taken as little damage as possible, essentially, to give me the best chance in this match. Now, perhaps expecting me to try and set up alongside him, Q is going to go for another Calm Mind. Puts him at +2/+2, but I am not taking any chances. I have decent investment in my special attack. I'm going to go for the Machigotcha, and that is going to do a good amount of damage to the point where, very crucially, Toxic is going to take out the Comfey. So I've done what I needed to do here. I've got out of this exchange with my Sinistcha at as much HP as it can possibly be. Mew gets a second kill due to the Toxic, and now we are in with Sinistcha, and I basically just have to hope that Sinistcha can bring it home from here with support from my priority and my fast Raikou. So, in comes the cat. Now, I have a plan to deal with this guy. What I'm planning on doing, he's going for knockoff, I know this. But I have a Colbur Berry, and my plan here is to just immediately kick Strength Sap. That'll take his attack down, and then his knockoff will be doing as little as it can possibly do, and I can maybe try and set up with Calm Mind, and then Machigotcha my way to victory, maybe. I can even use my Terra Fairy if I need to at that point. So this is going to be my best play. I have to go for Strength Sap immediately. As you can see, the knockoff is going to come in. Now I have base 106 defense, which means I take that fairly handily. Colbur Berry pops, I'm going to go for Strength Sap, and I'm going to get a nice amount of health back, but he has the Clear Amulet. He had a second method in mind of dealing with my Sinistcha. So, I don't lower his attack, which is unfortunate. Now, what I really ought to have done here was gone Terra. I was saving my Terra for Zangoose for an endgame, like, big sweep action going on. I shouldn't have done it, that was a mistake. I should have gone for Terra right here, right now, because he's going for knockoff again. He kind of has to. As you'll see, that's what he's going to do. I do live, because I'm naturally bulking out of an item. I go for Machigotcha, and as you'll see, that is not going to kill him. He lives with a smidgen. I get some health back, but Machigotcha does 3 things, and I get the burn. That is huge. That is very crucial. Without that, he doesn't go down, he takes me out next turn, I have to go into Zangoose, take more poison damage, it's a whole thing. As it is, the cat goes down to the burn, I get a kill with my Sinistcha, and that's lovely. Sinistcha is now in, and I might be able to clutch out with it. As you'll see, he's going to go into his Goldengo, and now once again I have to make a decision. It's very important to note, even now, even at this moment, he still refuses to go into the Terrapagos. That means he's got a plan for it, very end game. So now I have to make the decision which of my 3 Mons is going to be the one to best take on that Terrapagos, noting that I don't have hazards up anymore, and he was probably boots anyway to maintain his ability, the Terra Shield. So I have to decide what is going to be the best option for me to go for here. Do I stay in and try and outspeed and go and, you know, get a free switch into something? That's what I choose to do. I choose to stay in. He's going to be able to take me out with Shadow Ball. Now I could have gone into Zangoose, but the fact that he still has Make It Rain means he could very easily have gone for that instead. So now I have Zangoose left and I have Raikou left, and I choose to go into Raikou here. It will absolutely outpace the Goldengo and take it out, and then it becomes a 2v1 situation. So I'm going to click Thunderbolt. That will take out the Goldengo all day, every day. He's absolutely not switching. He has no reason to switch at this point, because he has set himself up for an endgame with Terrapagos. I go for Thunderbolt. That is going to take out the Goldengo, and now it becomes a 2v1. But here's the situation. Raikou, as you can see, takes poison damage. I go down to poison next turn, and he has this Terrapagos left. Ostensibly what has to happen here, there's no point me going for Aura Sphere, because of his Terra Shield ability, it won't be very effective. What I have to do here is go for Thunderbolt, and realistically I have to get the Paralysis to give me the best chance with Zangoose 1v1ing this guy. Because I'm not going to do a massive amount of damage first turn. That's, that's just a thing that I have to deal with. Maybe things would be different if I'd have gone Terra Fairy with the Sinistra, but, ifs and buts at this point. It's just going to come down to the end game and whether I can get myself out of this with Zangoose. So, I'm going to go for the Thunderbolt. As you'll see, the Terra Shell is going to come in and stop that from being very effective. It's still going to do a little chunk of damage. I don't get the Paralysis, and this is where I learn that this thing gets Rock Polish, and now it becomes oh so achingly clear why he never went into it until now. I go down to the Toxic, and yeah, this thing is naturally very bulky, and it's got normal type coverage out the wazoo. So I have one turn here. He is going to outspeed me because of that Rock Polish. Essentially, I have to, I have to go for Terra, I have to go for Quick Attack, and essentially hope that I can score a Mega Crit. It's going to be difficult. Can Zangoose pull through? So, gonna reveal my Terra Normal. Zangoose is powerful, but is it powerful enough with the Terra and no Swords Dance boost to effectively take out this Terrapagos? We're about to find out, ladies and gents. Here we go. Zangoose comes in, gonna get that big boost to the Quick Attack. Is it gonna be enough? Not even close. It leaves him at just above half. He's gonna go for Flamethrower, which was the correct play on his part, because I could have gone like Terra Ghost to get around his normal type stab coverage, but Zangoose unfortunately is gonna go down, and that is going to be the game. Yeah, unfortunate loss. We take a 1-0 loss week 1. Which is better than last time. Last time in Bolton Flare, sorry, I pause for a sec there. Last time in Bolton Flare, we did not have a great first outing. We lost 3-0 in our first game. This time we lose 1-0 to Q, and I'm not mad about it. I feel like for the most part I played as well as I could against a very good player with a very good team who was excellently prepped for what I decided to bring. Going up against Q straight off the bat was never going to be easy. It seems like he's been put there to just humble me week 1. And, I gave it a good fight. 1-0 is a very creditable response to someone who's always seen in playoffs. But the fact remains that one of the best players was put there straight off the bat to try and take me down, and he did. But I don't think he's particularly involved in whatever conspiracy is happening within the PPL, getting me here under these suspicious circumstances. I think he was just in the right place at the right time. So I don't bear Q any ill will, and you should check out his links below down in the description, by the way. He will be uploading his side of this battle. You should check it out, because you'll see his thought process and everything involved in that. Other links will be down there to the PPL coaches, of course. You should check them out too. But yeah, we take a 1-0 loss. We're just going to have to get over that and keep going. We move. It's not the worst result in the world. A 1-0 loss is very easy to bounce back from, and we're going to have to do that. Because next week, oh boy, this is going to be a big one. A lot of people very happy to see this man come back to the PPL, myself included. Very excited week 2 to be taking on my boy Necrostevo. Haven't fought him in years, and something strange has happened to him. His link you'll find in the description as well. You should check out his battles, but you should also check out his draft analysis, because something strange is going on with Necro. He seems to be letting in this kind of darker side of him, and as someone who dealt with alter egos in Bolton Flare, that's a dangerous game to play. It's a dangerous line to tread. So I worry for Necro. He's my friend. I don't think that he would be involved in any kind of conspiracy against me, but I worry for him, and I hope that he's okay. But, it's still a game. He's my friend, but I'm going to have to take him down. So keep your eye out for that. That'll be going up next week. Very excited for it. Nervous, but excited. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled. But I'm going to get out of here. Rambling on far too long. So my final thank you to you all for watching. And I guess with that, I will see you next time. Laters.